So folks, €1 equals $1. Yep, the euro just fell to a 20-year low and has reached parity with the greenback. Just let that sink in. Now, it's a pretty unprecedented time for the Eurozone as it grapples with a whole host of issues, from energy shortfalls to farmer protests to droughts and, of course, soaring inflation. Now, while it is indeed true that a lot of this comes down to dollar strength, the DXY or dollar index is testament to that, a lot of the euro's weakness is the doing of the European Central Bank or ECB. That's because, together with Japan's, the ECB is one of the largest central banks with the most lax monetary policy. It's kept its base interest rate at 0 since 2016. And while central banks in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, etc. started increasing interest rates months ago, the ECB is only now considering doing so. And even then, it's likely to only be 25 basis points. I mean, come on, Christine, Jerome Powell eats 25 bips for breakfast. This spread between USD interest rates and euro interest rates means that investors are moving from the latter to the former. That's why the euro has been falling against the US dollar. And on top of that, inflation in the EU is sky high. The latest EU harmonised index has it at over 8.6%, but there are many who doubt this figure. That's because in some of the individual member countries, the rate of inflation is already into double digits. Not only does this hurt consumers in Europe, but it also heaps further downside pressure on the euro. Why would you hold a currency where you're getting close to zero interest and which is also losing value at over 8.6% a year? And there's a double whammy here. A depreciating euro means more expensive imports, which means even more inflation. Did I mention that European energy prices are also sky high? You can check out my recent video on the main channel for the lowdown on that. So, it's simple then, right? Christine cuts her summer holiday short and swings back into action with massive rate hikes. Whoa there, not so fast. You see, the thing is, some Eurozone countries are heavily in debt. Structurally, not much has changed since the sovereign debt crisis of over a decade ago. Bond yields in southern European countries are surging once more, which of course means higher debt payments for fiscuses already under strain. Then there are consumers. As base rates go up, so do the consumer interest rates in many of these countries, and that further harms citizens already reeling from high inflation. So the ECB is in a much more precarious position than its counterparts elsewhere. By most estimates, Europe is already heading into a recession, so by reacting too aggressively, the ECB risks making that way worse. Now, one of the main reasons why the Eurozone has this unique problem is because of its structure. It's a monetary union without fiscal unity. Countries cannot adapt their monetary policies as they might wish, and hence are exposed to the whims of the overlords in Frankfurt. What works in Germany, France, and the Netherlands may not work in Spain, Italy, or Portugal. For over 20 years, the Eurozone has been trying to hammer round pegs into square holes, and now, well, the hammer is beginning to crack. So it's going to be interesting to see what the ECB decides to do this month. We can only hope that there's not too much collateral damage from whatever decision it ends up taking.